So now let's come back to tradition. Akom, right? Our mother said, Akom is what? Their practices is what? It's different, right? And the prophecy in the church is what? That is right. Oh, no, we are learning.
That one is also different.
It's a different
Actually,
practice.
they're referring to Apostle, and that one also has its origin. Okay, you remember somewhere in the Bible, I was telling you I don't keep quotations about the stories. I'm always abreast with it. Yeah, the stories I always remember. Apostle, there in Tree is a Aforimuchia, which is an altar. And according to the Bible, if you want to put an altar, the stones that you use, do not cut portions of it. Use them the way they are.
Yeah.
So in ancient of days, they used. These days we have tables for altar in churches and in our homes. We have tables. The Bible instructs that we use uncut stones. So our forefathers used these stones, and they use it as a point of contact between them and then the divine. So they'll be around these stones praying, and there was some kind of misinterpretation that they were praying to the stone or they were worshiping the stone. That is where we had the name Abo, meaning Osum or Abo. But in actual fact, that Abo is an altar. You are not worshiping the Abo. It's an altar. The Bible instructs that you use them as an altar.
Build an altar.
To connect you between the divine. So it's about our interpretation of things. And it stayed with us for long, up to today. The understanding is still not there. I mean, you dare not take this explanation to a real Orthodox church. You'll be kicked out. What do you mean?
Of course. This is the only place you can say things like that. I'm just reminding you. So, you have a question? Okay.
Yeah, not a question, but he has given a simple illustration of because we once remember Jacob also lying, using a stone as a pillow, and we saw the revelation he had.
Yeah.
But this time the images.
Okay.
It's not an obu, but a calf something.
Okay.
And some of us, we don't like this wooden carving because of what we see them use for.
Okay. He said something which we should know. Uncut stones, right? It means that the stones don't have to be cut, right? Meaning, if you are building an altar, if you are building something else, you can use furniture or whatever, because even in the temple, they had furniture. Moses was instructed to put up furniture and all of that, right? But if you want to use an altar, if you want to build an altar, that altar cannot be cut by human hands. Because the minute the human being comes to shape or size the altar up, immediately the energy of the person that is molding the altar or designing the altars that are in our churches, the energy of the person working on it has entered the altar, number one. Number two, the breath of life that the Creator breathed in either the stone, the tree, whatever it is, would instantly leave, because probably the breath that is in the tree, in the stone, does not agree with the person working on it. So in as much as you think that, okay, this is the altar in my church is supposed to draw divine energy or divine strength or spirit or divineness into it, it is drawing down nothing. Nothing. Simply because the image itself is disconnected itself from the divine. I want to use two things: intellect and intelligence. Intellect and intelligence, right? Yeah. Intellect is, which of them is man-made? Which? Intellect, right? Intelligence is alive. Intelligence is flowing, it's alive. Intellect is memory. Things that people have done over years that they've collected, and it's become a practice, it's become a norm. Right? So, the minute you use intellect to interpret something, the thing instantly becomes man-made. So this is you trying to connect to the divine with a man-made object. Right? And connecting the divine with a natural object that the Creator created. The two, which is right? Are you sure? Don't. I need you to be sure. Which is the right way to connect to the divine if you want to tap through anything or go through anything?
You see the God made.
Sorry?
The God made image.
Yeah.
Yes.
That will go straight, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what about the man-made?
The man made has a bit of God in it because you are taking it from nature.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But you do what?
Maybe the energy can be dispersed, the bad energy.
So it's like, which is the purest form of water you can have to drink? Sorry? Okay, I'm hearing rainwater. Who else? Who else? Spring water. Right? That's the purest form of water. The reason being that it's not rainwater is not pure, but you can't distill the particles that comes down with it. So you can use the rainwater for so many other things, but when it comes to consuming it, right? Spring water. Why, upon all the science in the universe or on this planet, upon all the knowledge, upon all the growth in science, upon all the discoveries, still science cannot produce water that is close to spring water? Why? Upon all the advancement, why can't science still come close? There's no water that even comes close. So even the water companies, if they want to sell their water to you, they write on it spring water, because they know if they don't put spring water on it, you won't buy it. Do you understand? So if you want to tap into the divine, there's not a single thing on the face of this earth that can connect you to the divine better than the natural things that are here on the face of this earth. Nothing can connect you. So I come back to Komse, Komfo. What's the difference? Because we still address the fact that our mother is saying what? Their ways. Right? So what is the difference?
And then I also say I think the Akom and the Komshe. The Akom and the Komshe, to my perspective, or I want to say that it depends on the spirit backing it. Because we have evil spirit, and then we have the Obadiah's own spirit. So the person that is giving the Komshe, it depends the spirit that is backing him or her. That would differentiate the two.
So he said something. It depends on the spirit backing it, right? Because if it is an evil spirit that is backing, the word we are using here is spirit. Do you know what I'm saying? The word we are using here is spirit. So let me ask a simple question. When you say evil spirit, you are thinking of the devil, right? That's what comes to mind, the devil. Okay.
Or the fallen
Say it's not the fallen angels. Okay. So let me ask a question. Can the devil create spirit?
No.
Because that's a mind the word you are using now. An evil spirit. Can the devil create spirit? Are we all saying no?
Yeah.
Are we sure?
Yeah.
Okay. If the devil cannot create spirit, and if the Almighty, the Creator, is the one that creates the spirit, then how did we get an evil spirit?
The foreign
Sorry?
The foreign
So the word we are using here is spirit. Right? Do you know the fallen, what you are calling the fallen angels, they also have spirits giving them that they didn't create, that it was given them. They didn't make it. Huh? So my question is, is there anything like an evil spirit created?
No.
When you want to go to Genesis, it says everything he created was good. Everything. So the Almighty did not create an evil spirit. So there's no such a thing like they've made us to believe that there is an evil spirit. Just that everything on its own has two sides. Everything has two sides. So once the thing appears, there's the face and there's the back. If you want to use the face, that becomes your choice. If somebody else wants to use the back, that is the choice of the person. But the face and the back has no preference. Do you know what I'm saying? My brother is actually saying something. We want my people to run away.
The point is, God wouldn't create any entity greater than himself to challenge him.
Are we understanding where this is going?
We create our own devil.
Okay. So the word is shenkom. Sofodi shenkom. Right? Enkom. When you read the scriptures, it says, and Saul. One way I can find fancy Bible there. Let me put this fancy read or chi. The chi also say. Na Saul na mo kwan so na komti si no so. When you read the English, it says, and the spirit of prophecy came upon Saul, the king, because he was amongst the convo. Right? So the chief will say, and Saul, banana akom tisi no so. Where is that akom coming from? Are you getting what I'm saying? Where is that akom coming from? It's the same akom na etc conform na wo ukrom no so. It's not different. It's not different. The last time we met, I said something that the spirit of prophecy is not in Christianity. Christianity doesn't have a prophet. If you doubt me, let me say simple. Why is it that anytime somebody wants to operate in serious prophetic mantle, the first place they go to is between Genesis and Malachi, and they never pick Galatians, they never pick Thessalonica, they never pick these verses, but they go to Genesis to Malachi to go and study how the prophet operated, so that they can also pick up that mantle and operate in the divine prophetic realm. Have you ever thought about it? So when you study carefully, pastors preach from the New Testament. Prophets preach from the Old Testament. Right or wrong? Don't make me feel like I'm talking to a strange congregation or that. And you get what I'm saying? So now, I'm showing you the word akon is the same word that we have brothelized to become prophet. And now when we hear prophet, hey, Odi, Abba. But when we hear comfort, hey, the man called, don't. My subject is you connecting to higher spirituality. The benefits will blow your mind. I don't want to talk about the benefits first. Now I want us to have understanding. Because majority of the time, all of us, we are constantly waiting for that person to come and pray, to come and do this, to come and say this, to come and say this. If that person is not doing it, why that? Do you understand? The reason why that person has been in that position because you are not willing to do the things that you have to do to become the person that whenever any situation is going on in your life, you would have the power to subdue and take authority over it. Leviticus 4, verse 7. I'm only reading a lot of scriptures for you to understand it. Me, I know what I'm saying. Do you get it?
4:7. Leviticus 4:7.
Okay.
So,
4:1.
1
to 7.
And the Lord spake unto Moses.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying,
Speak unto the children of Israel.
Speak unto the children of Israel. Sorry, my brother. How are you? I'm really glad you came. You still didn't go. You didn't go. How are things?
We are managing.
Continue.
Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, If a soul shall sin,
if a soul shall sin, listen,
through ignorance, against any of the commandments, of the Lord concerning things which ought not to be done, and shall do against any of them, if the priest that is anointed, do sin according to the sin of the sin of the people, then let him bring for his sin, which he has sinned.
Then let him bring an offering for the sin which he has sinned, right?
Yes. And a young bullock, without blemish, unto the Lord.
Unto who?
The Lord.
Is it the devil?
No.
Which Lord?
The Most High.
The same one you worship, right?
Yes.
Not the devil.
Yes.
Okay, continue.
For a sin offering.
And
he shall bring the bullock unto the door of the tabernacle.
And he shall break the what?
The bullock.
The bullock of what?
Unto the door.
So, or the abuano bebobino, right? To break it. Continue. Bring. Why them? Bring. Already know what you do. When you know I can say
And he shall bring the bullock unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation before the Lord. And he shall lay his hand upon the bullock. Bullock's head.
Who shall lay their hand? Is it the priest?
Yes.
The priest or the pest? The priest, right? The priest shall lay their hands onto the bullock.
And kill the bullock before the Lord.
The
Lord. And the priest that is anointed shall take of the bullock's blood.
And the priest that is anointed shall take of the bullock's blood. Okay.
And bring it to the tabernacle.
And bring it to the tabernacle of the congregation.
And the priest shall dip his finger.
And the priest shall what? Dig his finger. You see, I know everybody will come and tell me Jesus Christ has come to take away all these things. So this you cannot do. And you have, I'll quote you New Testament scriptures that says you have to pay attention. Jesus Christ came to copy the priesthood according to the order of Melchizedek. Melchizedek wasn't a priest in Christian era or Christianity. Melchizedek was an ancient priest who wasn't even a Hebrew. And the order of priesthood till our time is according to Melchizedek, not you don't understand. Continue.
And the priest shall dip his finger in the
So the
blood.
priest shall dip his finger into the blood. You see, we are the reasons why people like the occultic. You are recording. We are the reasons why people like the occultics are doing and becoming the bigger people and best positions in the country, whilst we are sitting back. Because the things that we have to do, we are not doing, and they are willing to do the things that we have to, that was meant for us. They are willing to do, and because they are doing it, anyway, I'm becoming the best of me, so they can become the best of themselves. But listen, if you are talking about energies and power and authority, it's not just about reading the Bible. Continue. Shall dip his hands. Have you ever dipped your hands in blood before?
No.
Continue.
And sprinkle of the blood 7 times before
And
the Lord.
sprinkle the blood 7 times.
Before the Lord. Before the veil of the sanctuary. And the priest shall put some of the blood upon the horns of the
And
altar.
the priest shall put some of the blood upon the horns of the altar. Why do you think that Balaam wanted to curse, but he couldn't work? He couldn't work because omo ba no ansa ade bechi omo be kokwan no omo di moje bi apete baby, and because of the weight of that glory and everything they've done in their secret, they cannot be cursed simply because a blood has spoken for them. A blood. Again, I know what you will say. Continue.
And the priest shall put some of the blood upon the horns of the altar.
Upon the corners of the altar.
Of sweet incense.
Of sweet incense.
Before the Lord.
Before him.
The Lord. Which is in the tabernacle.
Which is in the tabernacle. Don't pass 7.
And shall pour all the blood of the bullock.
And shall pour all the blood of the bullock.
At the bottom of the altar of the burnt offering.
At the bottom of the altar of the burnt offering.
Which is the door of the tabernacle of the
Which is the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. Is that it? Okay. Let's go to another one. Leviticus 5. They say please go to 4.
Leviticus chapter 5 verse 4. Say, or if a soul swear, pronouncing with his lips.
Or if a soul swears, pronouncing with his lips.
To do evil.
To do evil.
Or to do good.
To do good.
Whatsoever it be, that a man shall pronounce with an oath.
That a man shall pronounce with an oath.
And it be hid from him. When he knoweth of it, that he shall be guilty.
That he shall be
one
guilty.
of these. And it shall be, when he shall be guilty in one of these things, that he shall confess that he hath sinned in that thing.
That he shall confess that he has sinned in that thing.
And he shall bring his trespass offering.
And he shall bring his trespass offering
unto the Lord for his sin.
Who is taking all these sacrifices?
The priest.
No, I mean, who is demanding all these sacrifices?
God.
The Almighty, right?
Yes.
Bosumbi na ojiana. And ya bosumbi na oji. Continue.
And he shall bring his trespasses offering unto the Lord for his sin, which he has sinned, and female from the flock.
Okay.
And a lamb or a kid or a goat.
Okay.
For a sin offering.
For a sin offering.
And the priest shall make an atonement for him.
And the priest shall make an atonement for him.
Concerning his sin.
Concerning his sin.
And if he be not able to bring a lamb, then he shall bring for his trespass, which he hath committed, 2 turtle doves, or 2 young pigeons unto the Lord, and for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering. And he shall bring them unto the priest,
Okay.
who shall offer that which is for the sin offering first, and rip off his head from his neck,
Okay.
but shall not divide it asunder. And he shall sprinkle of the blood of the sin offering upon the side of the altar, and the rest of the blood shall be wrung out at the bottom of the altar. It is a sin offering.
It is a sin offering.
And he shall offer the second for a burnt offering.
So the priest is the one doing this. These are the things that you have to be doing because you said you would do it. So these are your duties. You said it here. I'm not the one who said it. Okay, continue.
And he shall offer the second for a burnt offering, according to the manner. And the priest shall make an atonement for him,
And the priest shall make an atonement for him.
for his sin, which he has sinned, and it shall be forgiven him.
Okay.
But if he be not able to bring...
Don't pass them.
Okay, I'll pass them.
Okay. So let's go to Leviticus 14. 1 to 8.
Leviticus 14, 1 to 8. And the Lord shall speak unto Moses.
Remember, he never said, bring the turtle dove, come and kill it and eat it. Right? So there are certain animals he didn't create. In fact, animals were not created for eating. I'm telling you. Animals were not created for eating. Whether you want to say pig or goat, animals were not created for eating. Let's go.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, This shall be the law of the leper in the day of his cleansing.
This shall be the law of the leper in the day. So the one who's suffering from leprosy, right?
Yes.
This shall be. So this is sickness. And he's talking about healing. And he says the one who is suffering from this sickness, this shall be what the person must do. Okay, continue.
He shall be brought unto the priest, and the priest shall go forth out of the camp.
He shall be brought unto the priest, and the priest shall go forth out of the camp. So when the person is bringing it, the person needs to announce. Then the priest will go out of the camp, to go and check if indeed the leprosy of the person is gone or the leprosy of the person is still there. So they will what? Quarantine the person outside, baby. Don't come into the public, so that you come and spread whatever is going on with you amongst the public. Do you get what I'm saying? Continue.
And the priest shall look.
Which all these things, there are some people on the face of this earth who still practice these things. And who are they? They are comfort. They do all these things till the latter. When you go to their shrines, they have a place for the sick, and they have a place for the well. They follow this to the core. Do our pastors today do it? Do our prophets, even those who are supposed, do they do these things? Do our bishops? No. Right? I'm not recommending first aid care to anybody. I'm just saying what is here and what must be done according to what is here. Okay, continue.
And the priest shall go forth out of the camp, and the priest shall look, and behold, if the plague of the leprosy.
So behold, if the plague of the leprosy
be healed
in
the leper, then shall the priest command to take for him that is.
So the priest will go and inspect if the coronavirus is gone or is still there. Right?
Yes.
And then if the coronavirus is still there, then they tell you go wait another time. So it's better. But when it's gone, it means that while you are at the place, you are not just waiting, but the priest at his shrine or in the tabernacle is performing certain things to ensure that you get healed. And this is what true spirituality is and how power is. When you ask my brother Solomon, he will tell you that healing does not know any distance, regardless of where you find yourself. Whether you are there, you are here, you heard Dr. Billy's testimony. There's somebody who doesn't really believe in prayer. if she believed, then we say that it worked. She doesn't even believe it. But what happened? The prayer worked, right? Okay. So the priest didn't have to be near those that are sick. In our time, when somebody is sick and you say that, you know what, we are putting you there, nobody will come to you till you are healed. Just go. Who will go? Because if I'm talking about the hospital, even them administering medicine to you, you are still dying. How much more them say that with their nobody will send their word there, right? But this is the power of the Almighty. While they were there and nobody was attending to them, He was healing them. You understand? All that the priest was doing was to minister to him. That's all the priest needed to do. Whilst the priest is ministering to him, doing his job, he would also come in the midst of the people and do everything that needs to be done without anybody having to lay hands on anybody or touch anybody. The power and the authority of the Almighty is moving through the crowd and is healing, is restoring, is fixing things. Nobody needs to do anything. Do you know what I'm saying? Yes. But in our time, when we come to churches, if the pastor does not lay hands on you, it means that the pastor has a beef with you. Like, so for my enemy, I'm a one of my. If the pastor doesn't touch you, continue.
Then shall the priest command to take for him, that is to be cleansed, 2 birds alive and clean, and cedar wood, and scarlet, and hyssop. So, you can do the same. Because you say you do it. So first one is what? 2 birds alive.
Okay, 2 birds alive.
Yes, clean.
Clean.
And cedar wood.
And cedar wood.
Yes, and scarlet.
And scarlet.
And hyssop.
And hyssop. So these are all upon church directions. It's still being done in the shrine today. It's still being done. And you shall take these things, and what will happen? Read on.
And the priest shall command that of the birds.
And the priest shall command that of the birds.
Be killed.
Be killed.
In an earthen vessel.
In an earthen vessel. Watch how it's killed.
Over running water.
Over running water. Into all way in soup. You know, this apancho. How are you looking at me like that? Now I'm confused. Am I safe? I can go on. Okay. So they kill the bird. So they pick the bird, right? Let me describe it. Now with the kutuesi you into whilst they are pouring the water into the kutunu, they are slaying the head of the bird and pouring the blood into the kutu at the same time while the water is going in. If you don't do that pancha like that, in fact, continue.
As for the living bird,
and that is where apancha is actually coming from. Apan nenchre chreyen ekwana yemfam fadun ye damazi. Go on.
As for the living bird,
as for the living bird, leave it.
He shall take it, and the cedar wood,
and the cedar wood,
and the scarlet,
and the scarlet,
and the hyssop,
and the hyssop,
and shall dip them.
And so all you put all of them together, all the list that he has mentioned, you put all together, and you do what?
And you dip them.
You dip them
in the living bird,
and the living bird,
in the blood of the bird,
in the blood of the bird, in the water.
That was killed over the running water.
That was killed over the running water. And then you do what?
And he shall sprinkle upon him.
And he shall sprinkle upon him. Into the one that is being healed, no. You sprinkle that upon him, and you do what?
You sprinkle upon him, that is to be cleansed from the leprosy.
That's to be. It means that spiritually. So this is science. You need to understand it. And this is the same thing Dr. Solomon was saying. That when you want to heal somebody, the healing takes place in the aura first, before the physical realm. So what was done outside the camp wasn't the physical healing. It was the aura, the cleansing of the aura, the spiritual healing. That was that. And when they checked in the spirit and realized that, okay, this disease, this sickness is not going to spread anymore. Now they say, bring the person to the camp, and now we do the physical healing. Continue.
Cleanse from the leprosy 7 times.
So they run it over the head. They sprinkle it over the head of the person that is sick 7 times, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And shall pronounce him clean.
And shall pronounce him clean.
And shall let the living bird loose into the open field.
And watch this. And shall let the living bird into the open field. And do what?
And he that is to be cleansed.
And he that is to be cleansed.
Shall wash his clothes.
Shall wash his clothes.
And shave off all his hair.
And shave off all. So you remember what I was telling you about the clothes? I found question go be. As we may say in soon as seminar. No question later. Continue.
And wash himself in the water, that he may be clean.
That he may be clean.
And after that he shall come into the camp.
And after that he shall come into the camp.
And he shall tarry abroad out of his tent 7 days.
You get what I'm saying? So the priest is the one sacrificing the blood, killing the animals, doing all this. Now doing the akwanche or lesa bomoja, not that pretty. And everything in the realms of the spirit has a specific thing to be done. You cannot use what you use for this to do for what you did for that. What happened here has to be different from what is happening here. So every situation has a unique direction. It's not the same. Do you get what I'm saying? Every situation has a unique one. Not the same. So now the question is, this is the way a priest is supposed to behave. This is the order of priesthood. Right? But the funny story is, this is not the original version. Are you getting what I'm telling you? This is not the original version. The original version is what Moses, what Moses learned from Egypt and brought it to the camp. So now Moses knows knowledge of how things are done. So therefore, he is the one instructing them on what to do. Remember, it is not the Almighty speaking to Aaron directly here. It is Moses writing his stuff and telling them this is what needs to be done, and that is what Moses is telling you exactly what needs to be done. So whatever or wherever the experience is coming from Moses while he was in Egypt. Right? And why is this so important? It is so important because Egypt is the foundation of spirituality. Egypt, not Israel. And I know majority of Christians, the foundation is Israel. The highest form of spirituality to every Christian is Israel, right? Now I'm come to show you in the very Bible that you've held all these years and prayed out of all these years and believed all these years will tell you that is not the origination of spirituality. That the origination of spirituality came from somewhere. It means that a group of people were practicing this spirituality before the children of Israel showed up. Are you getting what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay, so now the popular phrase, the order of priesthood is from Melchizedek, right? Who is Melchizedek? Who is Melchizedek?
According to the Bible, the Old Testament, Melchizedek is actually God himself.
Okay, where is that? Man, I don't know that one. If you can show me what that one is, I will be
They said,
very glad.
okay, let me
They
say.
have no father, no mother. They don't know how he came to be.
They what?
They don't know how he came to be.
They don't know how he came to be. Melchizedek came to be. They don't know how.
His generation, they didn't know the father of Melchizedek.
Hey, why is that for?
I think the tries in Hebrews. The one she's trying to put. But
Okay.
Melchizedek was met by Abraham after a war,
Mm-hmm.
and he gave him the tithe. But-
That's Genesis 14.
Yes. But we know that he's also called the King of Salem.
Okay.
Yes, so he's apart from him being a priest,
Okay.
he's also a king.
Okay.
But in terms of origin,
Okay.
it's a mystery.
Okay. So it's not that of a mystery because he's almost answered it all. So I don't want to take our time. It's not that of a mystery, I'm telling you. So Melchizedek was a priest in Egypt. Okay? Melchizedek was a priest in Egypt. Meaning, before he could become a priest, other people had pioneered the job. People had come before him and had studied it and had taught him because he didn't start it, right? So, the pharaohs who ruled Egypt at the time, I don't want to use the word conquered because it sounds too violent, but at the time, ruled over the province that is called Canaan. You understand? Ruled over the province that is called Canaan. So, the Canaanites were the people living in that province called Canaan. Do you get it? So when the pharaohs realized that the kingdom or the city Canaan was becoming something else, and then it was having its own under cities beneath it, the pharaohs decided, okay, we need to send a well-trained priest who is loyal to us and can go and do the job of being what? Of ruling over the city called Canaan. So at the time of Melchizedek's trade, Canaan was one city, but Jerusalem wasn't built at that time. Are you getting what I'm saying? So when Melchizedek was dispatched to the land of Canaan, he went in and then saw that, okay, there are opportunities here. So in this land of Canaan, let me build a city that would become the hub for all trade in the region of Canaan. Right? So if Accra was Egypt, Canaan was a place like in Sao. Are you getting it? So it was just close, right? You didn't have to, I don't want to say this because that would make people go. They didn't have to cross any Red Sea to get to Canaan. Canaan was a place they could easily go in and out on foot because it was a province under Egypt. Do you get what I'm saying? Yes. Okay. So when Melchizedek moved to Canaan, he decided to build a city on this particular location. A group of people called Jebu. Right? Jebu. So these Jebu people became the Jebusites that we know. Right? So when Melchizedek went to build a city and it was phenomenal, everybody, the people of Jebu made him the king, the ruler over all, though he was a governor assigned by the Egyptians over the land of Canaan. But because he built Jebu, right, they decided that, okay, since you have built Jebu and this place have known peace ever since you came in, we are going to name this place after you being the king of peace. So they decided to call the place Jerusalem. Jerusalem, the city of peace. So the original wording is not Jerusalem. That is why he is the king of Salem, according to Genesis 14. Do you get it? Because you ask, it's the same Jerusalem that David went to conquer and made that the capital of Israel. Are you getting the picture I'm painting?
Yeah.
So all the teachings, all the knowledge that Melchizedek had was from Egypt. And when you study Genesis 14, it says something very interesting that when you pay attention to, you will catch the mystery of what I'm saying. Genesis 14:18 says something.
And Melchizedek, king of Salem,
King of Salem.
brought forth bread.
And Melchizedek, king of Salem,
Brought forth bread and wine.
brought forth what?
Bread
And wine.
And he was the priest of the Most High God.
Wait, where did he learn this custom from?
Egypt.
He brought what? Bread and wine, which has become communion in our day today. So, there you have it. Communion wasn't an introduction of Christianity, and it wasn't something that Jesus came to introduce. Communion was always there because an evidence of it, Melchizedek bringing bread and wine, breaking it for what? Abraham. Continue.
And he blessed him and said, Blessed be Abraham.
And he
of the
blessed him
Most High
and
God,
said,
of the Most High God,
okay,
possessor of heaven and earth.
okay.
And blessed
So
be
wait. He says, blessed be who?
Abraham
Abraham of what?
of the Most High God.
So Melchizedek wasn't a Jew. Get this. Melchizedek wasn't a Jew, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't an Israelite. When Moses met the God of Israel, and the God of Israel introduced himself to Moses, what did Moses say? Who are you? When I go, what name should I tell them? Because they don't know you. So before Moses, the God of Israel didn't exist. So Melchizedek blessed Abraham not with the God of Israel, but which God here?
The Most High.
The Most High. The possessor of what?
Heaven and earth.
So the one that blessed Abraham and made Abraham a great nation is different from the one that came to Moses and introduced himself to Moses. Because if it was the same person, then there was no way on earth Moses will go and say, who are you? Sorry? You don't get me. I should come again. Which part? Yes, please.
So, which God was Abraham worshipping before?
Which God was what?
Abraham, which God instructed Abraham to leave the family? And
Most High God.
Who blessed him here? Blessed him with what?
Most High.
Most High.
With what? The Most High. So, it means, let's play the devil's advocate, right? It means, whichever God that called Abraham and blessed Abraham is not the Most High God. That is why they tell me some of the things I teach, I shouldn't teach because... Are you getting the picture I'm saying? I didn't come to confuse anybody. Listen. I'm not here to confuse. I love you too much to confuse you. I love you too much to confuse you. I want you to be the best of you. When you sit in the capacity of what you do, I want people to come to you and ask you how. And the only how I can do that is to give you the hard truth, which is not coming from my head, but it's coming from the very scripture you've always held, but you never saw it this way. Are you get what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that there's an introduction of Melchizedek, right? And this Melchizedek became the order of priesthood. Meaning Melchizedek became the standard of priesthood. The order of priesthood, the standard of priesthood, right? I'm wrapping up. So Melchizedek came out after the God of Abraham. It's safe to say that, because we all know the God of Abraham. After the God of Abraham had called Abraham and told Abraham to go out of the father's house. So when Abraham met Melchizedek, Abraham knew his God. Abraham had a relationship with his God. Right? But when he met Melchizedek, Melchizedek did not bless Abraham in the name of Abraham's God. But Melchizedek blessed Abraham in the name of his God. The way people are looking at me, I wish I can have a screen and we'll throw back the faces you are giving me right now. No, it's a you just haven't paid. You see, there's a thing. When you are reading through somebody's lens, you are only seeing what the person is telling you. But when you sit back and you allow the same spirit that is constantly teaching everybody to teach you, and like everything I'm saying now, right? Don't go home and go and read things according to how I am saying it. Do you understand what I'm saying? But you sit down and you spend time behind your Bible and then ask the Spirit to explain to you the things that I'm saying. That is how you learn. And that's how you see the scriptures different.